Hello and welcome to Berardi Coke. I got you there, Luke. Sorry about that, dude. Eating your
It's all right.
crisps.
Just had a mouthful of pickled onion monster munch.
Nice. I like it. We're going to discuss the 2-2 draw with Brighton yesterday, so we'll catch you in a few minutes.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Well, you're nearly caught twice on the hop there, man.
And literally, when you get to the bottom of the bag, they're not even Monster Munch, they're Aldi's version. So the other versions are available. But I was doing the old tip into the mouth and my headphones fell off. I was having a right nightmare. I was like fucking panicking like mad.
Do I wear the crisps or do I put my headphones on properly?
Yeah, it don't matter either way, really, does it?
Nah, not particularly, no. You were up for the game yesterday, man. You drove all the way up. It was an all right result considering the journey you had. What did you?
Mate.
What did you think?
I think during, before, or even after the game, I think at any stage you would probably have settled for a point there against a very good, very well drilled Brighton side. We didn't lay on a glove on them for the best part of half an hour during that game. They were just they were taking the piss. They were well drilled. They knew how to play against us. Their coach had done his own work. Although I did think they forced the press out of us, and our style now isn't to press. And well, it's not to press as violently as we have. As we have between obviously Bielsa and Marsh. And Brighton almost tried to tempt us into pressing, and every time they did, they went through us like butter. And every time we put a press on, they went through us like butter. They were a good side, mate. They're really well drilled. So yeah, before the game, you do ask me would I take a point? Yeah, during, definitely. And after the game, I still think we didn't deserve to get a point out of that, really. I know their goals were relatively scrappy, one of them. The second one was well worked. Sorry, the first one was well worked. The second one was quite scrappy. Took 2 wonder goals pretty much for us to get back in the game. But yeah, I think a point is unfair on Brighton, if I'm honest with you, mate. I thought they were the much better side. However, football is football, and we we battled hard, and we I suppose we did deserve a goal or two. So on the balance of actual, I've seen these stats, the shots on target. I think we doubled. I think they only had 2, we had 4 on target. So based on that, but then percentage wise, in terms of possession, they had double our percentage. They had 66 to our around about that 60 to that our 30ish, 66 to our 33. So it was a funny old game, and I don't think I've ever been to Elland Road and it be so tense.
Yeah, I did get that. Like I've been saying for a while now that the crowd just seems a little on edge recently, and like you can understand why. Like the stuff we've had to endure now for the last year and a bit has been absolute disaster. Like, so I think yesterday's point is a very important one. It leaves us in the relegation zone, mind, but at the same time, it's better to not lose a game like that because we had Brighton coming over, and let's be honest, they're on a bit of a roll, like you were saying as well. Their coach has them well drilled.
Really
I don't think anyone expected him to come in and improve on what Potter had already done, which he has done. Like
he has, and a half, and with a worse off squad as well. They sold Ben White, they've sold Cucurella, they've sold who was the other lad? Trossard, was it?
Yeah, Leandro Trossard. Yeah, to Arsenal.
They've sold some Maupai. I mean, he wasn't very very good anyway. But Mumpai. Sorry, should we say, Karl?
Moonpie.
But yeah, look, he really has improved them, and they've brought in some real quality again. You look at that Matoma on the wing, the other left back who played left back yesterday. I forgot.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, look, there's no denying Brighton are a good football inside. They were good to watch. I enjoyed, although I didn't enjoy it, the actual style of football they played was really quite nice. You know, quite pleasing on the eye. It was. They're a good side, mate, and I think there'd be a potentially in for a late push for Europe.
Yeah, they are looking like that at the moment. Now, where are they sitting? They're sitting pretty in about 8th or something, is it?
Yeah,
Not far behind Fulham. I
yeah, that's right.
I don't have anything on me here now to look at, but yeah, no, I thought, to be fair, they were well drilled, like you were saying, but I was very disappointed with
They're above
McAllister.
Fulham. They're above Fulham now.
Oh, they're above Fulham
on
now.
goal difference. Yeah, on goal difference.
Right.
With 2 games in hand on Fulham, they've also got two games in hand on Liverpool, and they're only 3 points. And they're only 3 points behind Liverpool.
Wow, that's going to be a massive thing for them if they can top a few of those teams you've mentioned there. Like I was saying there, though, McAllister was very disappointed from a Leeds perspective. You know, I was looking forward to seeing a World Cup winner. He's absolutely been smashing it and lighting up everything since he's gone to Brighton or whatever. I thought he was very disappointing yesterday, and
I think we neutralized. Other than his header for the goal, the first, I thought we neutralized him really, really well. I didn't think Adams and Rocker were that great yesterday. However, the work that they did do in neutralizing McAllister, and they didn't have, I say they didn't play well. What I mean is they didn't do the simple things. The aesthetically pleasing things that well. But what they did do was defensively. We limited their shots from outside the box. We limited their options. And I thought, as a unit, we defended relatively well yesterday. Apart from when the ball was at Matoma and Solimarch, who looked really dangerous every time they had the ball against Elland and Firpo. Firpo played really well yesterday.
I thought there was one tackle in the second half that Firpo made inside the box, and I tell you what, he's coming along. Like people were saying, oh, this and that, and I've not been his biggest fan. I don't think many people have because of how it's gone for him so far. But look at what happened when he got a run of games. Like he's actually, the confidence is growing in him. You can see that he wants to be able to do the things that he's expected to do because he's a good enough footballer. But I think overall, I think we should be very happy with that point. I think because let's be honest, no one thought we were going to get anything from that game.
I don't think so. Just on Firpo, he made an absolute nightmare challenge in the 92nd or 3rd minute, though, in the same position, just outside the box, and gave him that late free kick. But look, all in all, he's up against a very good player in Solimarch, and I thought Matoma was their man of the match. I thought every time he got the ball, he excited them and offered them something down their left hand side up against Daly, who played all right, but I just felt we were left a little bit lackluster at right back yesterday because Matoma was so good. He was just finding acres of space, and every time there was a ball over the top for them on the break, it seemed to be down that side. But yeah, look, I've no qualms with coming away with a point. I would have snapped your hand off. I would, and especially having seen him play, because I went down to Brighton at the start of the season, and it was one of Potter's last games, I think, if I remember rightly. I might be wrong, and I don't have the greatest of memories, but I'm pretty sure Potter was still in charge then. And they weren't that good. It was 1-0. They beat us. They'd just lost Cucurella. They brought in Espin, whatever he's called, at left back, and everyone was expecting massive things. And they were well organised, but we probably could have got something down there in terms of probably a win. But yesterday, I didn't ever see the win coming.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Even after the first whistle went, Karl, they just looked so confident, competent on the ball, and they just all knew their jobs really, really well. You look at Lewis Dunk; he's come up. I think he played with them in League One.
Yeah, he's come all the way up with them, hasn't he? Like, so it helps having players like that, like who know the club, who know what they're doing, and they can actually, buy into the experience that they've got. Like, it helps young players around them and everything. Is it any wonder why players seem to settle in quite well in that squad? There's never any kind of when you see what you see of them, there's never any kind of period where they're integrating players to get used to the team. They always seem to just come straight in, and they always seem to just seamlessly just start playing well with the team and the squad around them.
Yeah,
So
their recruitment policy is something to be adored, mate. I think as a rule, because they won't let players go for less than what they value them at. You only got to look at Caicedo and Arsenal in the January transfer window, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, and I think they'd offered him something stupid like 60 or 70 million for him.
yeah.
And now he's just signed a new contract. They're saying they want at least 90. So they're not daft. They do the transfer market, and they seem to bring in some great players for very little money in terms of value. And then flog them on. It's a great model. It's working for them, and they're still not losing the core nucleus of the team. I expect McAllister will probably go in the summer. He'll go to probably a better side. I expect they'll probably lose Caicedo. I think Matoma might go as well, but they'll replace them with three relatively unknowns that will come in and do a similar job without much coaching. They'll just sort of, seamlessly integrate into that side. Pretty much what you said, and then they'll sell somebody else, and then they'll sell somebody else, and they'll do it all again. It just seems to really work for them.
They always seem to have someone lined up, regardless of whether there's talk of a player being sold or whatever. They always seem to have someone lined up in every position. When, like, again, now in the summer, you said McAllister will probably leave, but you can guarantee that they've got a player of as good quality, if not better than McAllister, coming in to replace him. But it's like you said, seamless thing. It's just they're churning out players that are coming from different small clubs and here and there, and just walking straight into the team and just seeing, like, it's like they're coming back from injury. They know everyone, they know what's going on, and it's mad just to look at it. Like, but we'll move on from Brighton because this is a Leeds United podcast.
In all, though. I mean, we've got to be in all that. They're they deserve every ounce of respect. They were a good footballing side, good to watch, and I wish them well for the rest of the season. Luckily, we don't have to play them every week or ever again this season. Yeah. So I think they will. They were well worth the 4-0 over West Ham recently. So I think there'll be a few more teams on the other end of some of their hidings as well. And we could have quite easily been yesterday had their final ball been a bit better.
I was just going to say, they seem to have the same problem as us in front of goal when the final pass was coming, which made it a bit fucking edgy for us, I think, because every time they got forward, like you said, they looked a lot more dangerous than we did in parts. But just to go on to there was the first comment we had for today was from Johnny Smith. How tactically clueless is the fan base, especially those in the South Stand? Johnny, if you wouldn't mind maybe just messaging us there again, just explain what you mean.
I think I know what he means, Carl.
I think I know what he means, but I'd like to hear it from him.
He sent that at 10:30. That was an hour before we started, so I don't know if he's actually on.
Well, we'll see in a minute anyway.
Yeah, but what I think he means because we were getting very impatient, and Brighton were playing very much with the ball at the two centre backs and the goalkeeper until they saw an opportunity to pass it through the middle or back out wide, and they just did that. We couldn't lay a glove on them. They kept the ball for, I reckon, probably the best part of 5 minutes at one stage, and we didn't have a touch. I think that's what it means, and I think the South Stand. I think because that is the loudest stand in the stadium, and that seemed to be where they were playing out from in the first half. That we were getting impatient, and because we've seen the likes of the Bielsa press and the absolute chaos of the Marsh press, if that's even a thing,
it's not going to make it onto Football Manager anyway.
No, it was very much high energy, high press. We're not playing like that not anymore. And I think it's unfair to say that the fans don't understand it and that they're tactically clueless. I think we just wanted to see something. We were at home against Brighton, who, a few on paper, and you look at history and the size of the club, and that's how a lot of people view football and the size and everything like that. But ultimately, they're a better footballing team than us. And we're not going to be pressing like that. And the moans and the groans and the shouts weren't coming because we wanted to see a Marsh style press. It was we just wanted to see something. We wanted to see something happen. And it was I think ultimately it was aimed more at the Brighton players rather than actually, the Leeds players urging Leeds players on. But But yeah, it was frustrating, and I think they frustrated the hell out of us doing that, and especially when they've been so used to as a defensive unit just going absolutely mad, whether it be Bielsa's man-to-man marking press or whether it be Jesse Marsh's fucking absolutely nuts press, every man run to the ball type press. Then yeah, it's a completely different style we're playing now under Gracchia, and I completely understand the frustration in the fans after. I mean, it must be frustrating the players, never mind the fans. They've been taught that for the best part of 4.5 years, to press like fuck, and now they've been told to sit back and actually let them come at you a little bit. Let them come.
Yeah. I did notice that. I watched like again briefly and short lived, but I watched a tactical kind of insight into Gracia's style of play when we don't have the ball, and what he likes to do is what we saw yesterday in the first half, where he's happy to let the defending team have the ball in and around their back four and their keeper. But what we do is we now start to hold the line at a certain point where we don't press. And what he likes to try and do is just as we move slowly forward, he tries to force the centre backs or the right back or the left back to play a long ball down the middle or out wide. And what he does, he likes to try and rely on the centre backs then to be aerially dominant. So when you look at the style that he's kind of playing now, and when you look at it from those kind of angles and whatnot, it makes sense what we're doing. As frustrating as it might be, if the fans are getting frustrated, imagine, like you said, how the players are. 4.5 years of running like lunatics, and all of a sudden they're told, whoa, you need to stop just there in the final edge of the final third and let them come out, but then kind of close in. But I think the way we play is absolutely sound at the moment, because if we pressed the way we have been pressing, like winning the ball that high up at the moment, Jackie can't dribble. I don't know what's gone on with his head. Like he's constantly getting the ball and running into alleyways where he's not getting out. Players are just doubling up on him again, but he's taken too long out of the ball. And I think that if he can start to just I know it's not to go back to Bielsa now by any means, but that quick one-touch passing that we used to do under him, if we can understand where we need to do that again through Gracia, I think Jackie could be okay. But at the moment, I'd take him out of the starting 11 and just have him work on his head is all over the place for me at the moment. And January can't have helped that. But I think he needs to come out, just get your head straight, understand a little better as to when to. I know he's a professional footballer. I shouldn't be telling him how to play the game, but understand when to let it go and when to hold on to it. And at the moment, he's not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not one for. I mean, picking out players, but ultimately it needs to be done. It needs to be done. And you, if you didn't watch the game yesterday, you'd look back and you'd see Harrison 1 goal, 1 assist, and then but you wouldn't have seen the game. And ultimately, it was terrible. It was terrible. Other than his goal and assist, that was. I mean, it was awful. I had actually just written down before you mentioned about Harrison there that I wanted to talk about him, not necessarily about how poor he is or anything like that, but I genuinely think you're right in that I think he does need a break from the starting line, from the firing line. The crowd before Bamford scored, it was just turning. It was literally just turning. What the fuck is going on was ringing round the stands, and it was just about to turn, and we got that goal. And it ultimately changed the whole nature. We started singing again. It was dead. The atmosphere, I've never heard it as quiet. You could hear a pin drop in there. And we were getting sung by Brighton fans. Brighton was singing football in a fucking library to us at home. You know what I mean? It was real edgy yesterday. But yeah, I think Jack Harrison, he needs something. He needs a bit. I just don't know. And even when the substitutions were made yesterday, Carl, he was the last to come off.
Yeah. Why didn't Sinisterra come on with maybe 12 minutes to go? Why not
in injury time?
What
I mean, we're not the managers.
Minute and a half.
Yeah. I mean, on reflection, Carl, we've got to look ultimately at the result. Brighton pushing for Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We've got us in a relegation battle. We under Bielsa or under Marsh, for me yesterday, we get hammered. because of our pressing style, they would have cut us open and we would have got absolutely battered yesterday. I think tactically, yesterday was very, very clever of Gracia in terms of the actual style and how we set up and the fact that we managed to come away with a point. Is credit to what they've been doing and working on in training. It is because we didn't get dragged into playing how they wanted us to play, and how potentially how they expected us to play as well. I think is probably is a fair assessment. But yeah, there's one or two players in that squad at the moment that probably need a break. I think the other one for me is Tyler Adams. I think he's been a shadow of what we saw earlier on in the season. Unfortunately, I hate to say it because I absolutely adore the guy. I think he's a fantastic player, and he's got all the attributes to be a very, very, very good player for us when he wants to be, and for any team probably. But I just feel he's, I don't know, a little bit lacking of confidence as well, potentially. And ironically, since McKennie's joined the club, he's been poor, a little bit poorer and a little bit off. But they're the two I would look at potentially giving a bit of a rest to, or they need a little. I don't even know what they need. They need to get back to their former selves ultimately for us for the running that we've got. We've got, is it 14 games left now? 14 games. We need the very best out of every player. Sorry, 12 games.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near 14.
So it's basically we're at the Marsh scenario from last season now at this stage, aren't we really? But when you were talking about Adams there as well, Luke, I like you. I think he's absolutely on his day. He's absolutely class, but I don't think we're utilising him in the way that we probably should. Now, in my opinion, now I feel if Adams is the kind of the breaker upper of things, I'd have him
breaker upper things. Is that technical? Is it?
Yeah. That's the technical term.
Is that how you'd coach?
That's the technical term.
You're going to be the breaker upper of things.
I think he should be sitting in front of the back four, and then when because we're clearly using we're wing backs now at the moment. So what I'd like to see is turn us into a back three with Adams sitting in the middle. Now I had mentioned this previously on a couple of pods a while back where I wanted Rocca in there as the person to be able to spray the ball about once he picks up possession in that area. But I think Adams is probably more suited because if he can break it up and get the ball to Rocca, that's where our passes are going to, the spraying of the ball is going to start coming. Since we bought Adams, I've been very, very, extremely critical of his passing. His passing ability, to me, it needs an awful lot of work. Awful lot of work. There was times yesterday, and this isn't criticisms, by the way, so just in case anyone's going to go mad. It's not criticisms, they're observations. And I think if you don't take the observations in and try and work on what you've seen, then what's the point? But there was times yesterday where he picked the ball up in a perfect position where Rocca would normally have it. And all he had to do was spray it wide. And it was like he wasn't confident enough in his own ability to loft the ball that far without having to fucking welly it. And that's something that I feel that he needs to work on. Apart from that, he has been a bit poor, like you were saying, since McKennie came in. But at the same time, you can't really blame McKennie when he's not showing the form that we did see earlier on as well. If you've got your best mate coming in, that should give you more of a G up to get going, rather than taking a back seat on it and hoping that it just carries on the way it is. I think it does need to work on that. I'd like to see him form part of a back three when we do start to break forward with the wing backs. And I think if you can give him that little bit more responsibility in that area of the pitch, it might get his head more tuned in and focused in relation to different aspects of his game. Like the passing element, you'd hope so, because he's only going to be bringing it out a little bit and then potentially playing it into Rocca or Adams to start spraying it wide. So I think, or Rocca and McKennie rather, sorry. So I think, like I said, it's not a criticism; it's just an observation. I think if he doesn't start to work on that could cost us. Like it could very much cost us, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, he's breaking things up the whole time, and you're like, right, it's a bit of a bipolar kind of fucking performance sometimes, because if he's absolutely smashing it, where he's breaking things up, then you can't really criticize his passing. But then when he gets on the ball, his passing is absolute dog shit. So you're kind of like you're trying to even out well, I don't think it's criticism. It's more, you know, I want for him to do better, really, more so than anything else.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and we've we didn't sign him as a new Calvin Phillips to sit in there and spray the ball left, right, and centre. When we signed him, we knew we were going to be playing a double pivot. So Rocker was going to be the man doing that anyway. But even his breaking up of play, he just looks like he's pulling out challenges somewhat. His short passing game, even simple stuff. Simple under 9 type stuff, and I don't know. I'm not disillusioned. I know they're playing against some world class players, but yeah, I think yesterday we showed, and I think Gilly mentioned it actually in the comments earlier, some real resilience to come back twice. We another day we would have probably lost that game maybe 3-4-0, 5-0, and especially under a high pressing style, they would have cut us open. So I think a lot of credit's got to go to the squad and to the coach and to the coaching team as well for the work they've been putting in to actually set up in an absolutely brand new defensive style, completely new. They've not done it for over 4.5 years. I can't even remember. I mean, I go back to thinking before Bielsa when we had Monk and stuff like that, and even then we didn't even play a sort of mid block, if that's what you even was, and if you want to call it. But it was to come back from twice from a goal down. It does show that things might be starting to click again, and I'm feeling relatively confident now. And I know results went against us yesterday, in Bournemouth and Everton, but ultimately we're the makers of our own destiny, and picking points up here and there could be really important come the end of the season. I don't expect Everton to go on a mad run now. Nor do I Bournemouth. I think they're freak results. I haven't seen the highlights. I don't know who was on top, but I assume the Bournemouth one was certainly a freak. When I saw a bit of that in the pub, Salah missed a penalty as well, didn't he? Look, the things we weren't doing and the things we weren't getting from games previously, we are now getting. We got the win against Southampton. We looked confident against Fulham in the cup. Although we should have beaten them, we didn't get the result. We've come back twice against Brighton. We're in a good position in terms of confidence, and I think the steps are coming at the right times for me. And we're seeing that gradual improvement, whilst we're seeing some players' individual improvements performances declining. Harrison for one, other than the goal and the assist, which sounds absolutely mad.
It sounds mental, doesn't it? But
it sounds Harrison was shit, but he got a goal and an assist. Absolutely sounds crazy, but that's how it was. There's no two ways around it, is there? That's exactly how it was. Every time he got the ball, he seemed to lose it, and but for me, I feel that we are taking the right step. I still don't know whether we'll stay up. I'm still confident we are going in the right direction in terms of our performances and results. But I'm just, as I said, we're the makers of our own destiny.
I think what you were saying there regarding Everton and Bournemouth, you're assuming that they won't go on any kind of a run because of how they've been all season. If you look,
they're not very good at football.
But the thing is, as well, if you look from, I think it's like Leicester or Villa down, I don't think any team has won more than 2 games on the trot all season. So there's no consistency between all we need is that little bit of consistency and maybe get, 3 wins here, 2 draws. Look where Everton ended up when they got a win. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. If we can
4 points, Cal, separates bottom 9, I think. Or 12 to 19th. There's 4 points, I think.
Man, that's absolutely nothing when you look at the larger scheme of things. If you get two wins together, 3
It's
wins and a
crazy.
draw or whatever. You're nearly looking at Europe at this stage. It's that bad. Like, you know, the quality and standard in the bottom half of the Premier League this year is by far and away the worst we've had or seen for a very, very long time, in my opinion. Like
Absolutely
there
is.
was talk of a relegation battle there, maybe I think it was 2 years ago or something, where it was very, very close. Not us now, but I think it was before we got promoted, and you were looking at teams and there was nothing in it. Like there never seems to be anything where it's going to be like what I'm trying to say is that we can
Get
always
out,
have
Carl, for fuck's sake.
we can always have hope when there's not teams winning on a regular basis. That this is the thing, like it's the hope that's going to kill us now, because there is teams around us not winning in
Yeah.
you know in consistent fashion. So we always have that chance. Like we have Matty Leeds there. Should we bring him in for an old chat and see what he has to say?
Yeah, get him in, Matty from Australia.
What up, Matt? How
Hey
you doing,
guys,
man?
good.
G'day.
I'm happy with the result. Some
You're
people
happy
aren't,
with
but yeah. I mean,
a lot
Brighton
of
are
people
fighting for Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you watched it at ridiculous o'clock in the morning there, I'd imagine, Matty. So
Yeah.
what did you notice? Like, because me and Luke were at the game, so obviously there's a different perspective when you're watching it on TV as to when you're watching it in the stadium. Sometimes, can you elaborate on anything that we touched on there? Just that we might have missed, or you might have seen something that we didn't. You know.
I mean, the players need to improve their passing. That's one main thing. I think the crowd got a bit like how much they were booing when we weren't pressing. We're not really, the way we're playing under him, we're not going to be pressing as much. And I think we need to learn that staying back is sometimes better.
Yeah. The fear of not pressing and winning the ball back seems to be very high on fans' minds at the moment. Like, and
We've been
did you
spoiled,
get?
haven't we? Just very quickly. Sorry,
Yeah.
we have been spoiled with very high energy football for the last, as I said, about 4.5 years, and we're probably just over. And now we're playing. I'm going to say it's more sensibly is probably the best way of putting it. More sensible football in terms of our level and where we are in the league. This is probably the right style of football to be playing, to pick up points against your teams like Brighton. Then absolutely go fucking gung ho and get battered 5-0 at home. What would that have done for the confidence? I think we've got to be really, really careful about what we wish for. Do we want to lose 5-0 and see high energy football and go into the next game on the back of a 5-0 away, home win, and then go away to Wolves on the back of that? Or do we want to actually think, we've just beaten the team that likely will be pushing for Europe come the end of the season? Or do you know what I mean? Or do we want to go on the back of that from a 2-2 hard fought draw where we've really battled and ultimately their goals weren't brilliant. Their shots on target weren't brilliant. It was a shit game of football to watch. If you just had a 2-2 scoreline, you thought, bloody hell, I bet that was end to end, but it wasn't. There was only 6 goals. There was only six shots on target in the whole game.
Do you think, just going back to your point there, Luke, about the style we're playing now, do you think is that as much to do with the players that we currently have, that he's kind of gone, right, this obviously it's Gracia's kind of a favoured style of play, but do you think is it better for us with the players that we have to play that style?
Not necessarily, and I think we can see that when we played Fulham and we were matching them, we played a different style. We were on the front foot. We played a lot. We still defended similarly in that we didn't press in their half and everything else. But in terms of the football we play, I think that depends on our opponents. I think we mix that up and we almost have a different game plan for every game. The teams around us that we're going to be playing up to the end of the season, I think we'll probably see a much different style against Wolves, potentially a different style coming up next weekend. So I don't think that is a great barometer this weekend of the style of football we'll be playing every week at all. I think Ratchier and his team did really well, did their homework, completely knew what to expect in terms of Brighton, and we did well to neutralise it the best we could.
Matt, just to go on to what Luke, elaborate on what Luke was saying there, and that against Fulham we played a different kind of style and setup and whatnot. Do you think was it because it was the FA Cup and he thought, you know what, I'm just going to try this out now and see how we get along in relation to playing this way, and then potentially have two styles to fall back on.
Yeah, maybe, because I mean it's the FA Cup and the league's the most important thing, so we might as well just try something. And I thought it worked well. In this game, I thought we also played a front two. I thought Aronson was more a striker, which signals that maybe we'll see Rodrigo in that position when he's fully fit.
Was that Matt? I thought that from the stands, it's always difficult to get a good sort of perspective from in the stands, because you only see what you can see, whereas on telly you sort of see wherever it is. Did that? It felt to me that we lined up with the two in defence in terms of how we set up, but when we were attacking, Aronson dropped in behind him. Is that
kind of, yeah. Like, because Aronson.
You can tell me if I'm completely wrong, because that's just how it felt.
There was a couple of times when their keeper had the ball and Aronson almost got it off him. There was like 3 or 4 times where he was like nervous, and if Aronson nicks it off him, it's we score. So he's like really good at that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I think overall, I think I'm quite happy with the point yesterday. Like you said, Luke, if you were to watch that or not watch that game and you see it's 2-2 and you think, Jesus, like you said, end to end. And it wasn't. It was completely the opposite of that. And to say that we actually did all right to come away with a point. I know people are going to be like, oh, but we were at home. We should have been getting this. We should have been getting that. It's like, you don't expect that against that Brighton side now. I don't care if we've got a bigger history. I don't care if we've got this or that or our stature or whatever the case may be. There are far better football inside than us at the moment.
I think the realists amongst us, Karl, understand that although we're this massive club with a massive fan base around the world, that's a huge club, and Brighton are just little old Brighton. That we should be winning that game. That's not how football works, unfortunately, anymore. No. The better football inside will always be the A game and be more positive and productive. They've got a much better side than us. They're better drilled. This coach has come in and done wonders. I think we've got to take a step back sometimes and actually appreciate that we're not the Leeds United of the early 2000s pushing for Europe every season. We're not. We've got to build to get back there. We're in a relegation fight, and ultimately we're going to have to play relegation style football or relegation battle style football. Should I continue to try and get out of that? If people want to see a high press, high energy, but potentially lose 5 or 6-0, that's not going to happen anymore. So we just need to be a little bit more proactive in our thinking, I think, and actually understand that. Look, not every game is going to be high tempo. We're not going to go out and press for 90 minutes. The players aren't going to be running around like headless chickens towards players and running towards players. Remember Bielsa's style? They used to have man to man. So if their left back went to the right, then Luke Ayling used to go to our left. It was fucking bonkers.
Yeah. Do you think, are you more confident with the style that we're seemingly playing now of staying up than the chaotic nutjob style of Jesse Marsh? Do you think I know it's a difficult one to answer, like, because they're two completely different ones, but technically we're solider. We're more solid now. My English got fucked this morning. Don't know what's going on. I've left my brain in bed.
Solider.
Solider friends. But which do you think is going to be more beneficial? Obviously, Jesse got us up. We stayed up last year with Jesse's style, but I don't think there was very much in the way of tactics that kept us up from Jesse.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. I'll let you answer that first, mate. I've got an opinion on it, but I'll let you go first.
It feels like I'm more confident under Grazia, and just because I think he's a better manager overall as well. But the way we're playing it, like ever since he's come in, I don't think any of our defenders have had a bad game since he's come in as well. So I think they've been playing pretty well, and it's good to get performances out of Furpost turning into a different player. And hopefully,
that is the one thing we have noticed as well, is that we are more solid at the back, and that regardless of what you say, I think Koch and Verber, I think moving forward, if we stay up, I think that's our new centre back pairing, unless we bring in someone of a higher quality, So look, at the end of the day, Danny has commented in here. Hold on, we'll just fire that up.
Yeah, I saved that. I started that because that's bullshit. I don't ever believe that. I think we kept ourselves up. We went and beat Brentford, and ultimately results went our way, but we still had to go there and do a job. We didn't know what was going on elsewhere. Rafinha, yeah, there's an argument. He played well, an integral part in that. But yeah, I still don't like that argument that Newcastle kept us up last year. But yeah, just my opinion. Sorry, quickly, Carl. On
no, I was going to go to that, man.
On the whole Marsh thing. I'm going to base it simply off the last game because that's why you're asking me. We're on the BNC after that, and yeah, I think we're in a much better position now to stay up than I feel that we would have been under Marsh. I think we'd have got a real hiding yesterday against a good Brighton side because of their style, because of the class they've got on the field. I don't know whether we'd be in a similar position under Marsh, and I never will. But things were improving. Results weren't. Simple as that. We were improving as a unit, but results weren't improving. We're now, since Scratchy took over, we beat Southampton and we picked a point up yesterday. We obviously got beat down at Chelsea and Fulham in the cup as well. But yeah, look, I'm far more confident now, I think, than I ever would have been if in yesterday's game alone, because I think we would have got a real fucking CNT yesterday. I will be honest with you. I think we would have been opened up like a little tin opener, going through a can of tuna chunks in brine.
It's what I'm doing with the fucking language barrier contagious today, or what's the crack? You're fucking waffling on there about tuna tins and all.
It's right though. It's right. And anybody who can understand and appreciate, I suppose, a good side will understand that yesterday Brighton are a good footballing side, and they would have absolutely every time. If you notice, we tried the press a few times. Isn't it? Good few examples. We tried the press in their half, and every time Dunk or the other centre back threw it through the middle, and they were through. They cut us open like in a matter of seconds every time we tried to press. So that would have been like that for 90 minutes. So I reckon it would have been a fucking car crash under Jesse Marsh yesterday.
I think so. Yeah, like there was a few instances where they played that typical ball that we're so used to over the right and left back, but we didn't get exposed too much.
Not massively.
They tried it a few times. They got away with it once or twice, and then we kind of capped on to that. But you could see Firpo kind of moving over, and when they were coming towards us on the attack, you could see him as he was coming in. He was kind of gearing back out towards the far side to avoid that ball over the top, which I'm glad has been identified, because it's been a serious burden for the last 12 months. Like every team that's come to us has just been like, right, okay, that's our way in. Just put it over there. That's it.
Yeah, it's nice to see that we've neutralised that. I mean, it came off a couple of times, but that was just because of Matoma's class. I mean, and Solly March, they trapped the ball really well and went at the fullbacks. I just want to comment on something Gilly's just said about Elland.
Yeah.
I think just predominantly on Bill. I don't think Bill was that poor yesterday. I think he was up against a very good player, but I also feel he wasn't helped out by Somerville yet again, tracking back, and leaving him very much isolated out there against a world class right back. Left midfielder against Elland. He did some things poorly, but he also did a lot. He did a lot of good things yesterday, blocks and things as well in our own box. Made some good tackles and stood up Matoma as well as he could on the occasion that Matoma went at him. But yeah, I don't think any of the back four was actually poor yesterday.
No, like I thought they were solid enough. Obviously, there was a few bits and bobs where, the arse nearly fell out. Like, but you know what I mean. We're going to have that anyway. As a team, we should be kind of sitting there going, right, okay, that's going to happen once or twice a game. We need to sort of work on that. Just there from Nick, encouraging. Where is it now? Just put it up. Encouraging that Rodgers is back. Cine is back as well as Bamford. Xavi should not be afraid to mix it up. I think that's a great point. We've now got two of our most prominent attackers back. We haven't seen the best of Sinisterra all season.
No.
And I think he's going to be as important coming back for us now as Raf was to us last year. If he can hit the ground running and get maybe more than a minute. I think so. I think if he comes back in, he's got a lot to prove now, you see.
I'm yet still to be over impressed by Sinistera. He's showed some with real class. We've seen, and he's not afraid to shoot from outside the box. And yeah, I think he could offer us that little bit of Raf that kept us up last year, Dan. Danny Rumsey, sorry, that is not Newcastle, Raf and Leeds. But yeah, I think it's a great time of the season to start getting some of your best players back. If I'm honest with you. And yeah, we might see a few more minutes for them both, hopefully next Saturday. But who impressed you? Was there anybody yesterday who overly impressed you, who took a bit by surprise, who we didn't really expect much from?
Matt, I'll throw that at you first, man.
Bamford scoring with his right foot, and that's
and Harrison.
and Harrison. But the thing is, Harrison scores that with his right foot. Why didn't he just clear it with his right foot? The other goal.
Shout. Yeah. Great, yeah, the own goal.
There was also I don't know if you guys talked about this, but Rodrigo got tripped in the penalty box. And
I haven't talked about that.
I've seen the replay, and he didn't touch the ball at all. He took his leg out. That's a penalty.
I haven't actually seen that on a replay yet, but there was big shout for it in the ground.
I've seen it, Karl. So what happens? Rodrigo takes a touch. One centre back comes across him, makes no contact with the ball, takes Rodrigo out, but the other defender is at the opposite side, so they're almost sandwiching him. And the other defender gets a foot to the ball. So the letter of the law would suggest it's a penalty because the first defender who went through Rodrigo doesn't get anywhere near the ball.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not he gets to the ball if the other defender doesn't or not is another question. But for me, that is a penalty, a stonewall penalty even.
Yeah, I like I said, I haven't seen it, but did they even check it on VAR yesterday, Matt?
No.
Anything on TV?
Did they not even check it?
They didn't even check it, no.
What?
They showed the replay, and it's just play on.
What's the point in VAR? Honestly, if you're looking at it and it's a stonewall penalty and it's a blatant foul, why isn't it been anyway? Look, fucking VAR can go and fucking get in the sea now. I'll be honest with you, it's absolutely useless at the moment. I don't think it's gone our way.
They haven't checked it. I think if that's checked, that's a penalty 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, well, like I said, I haven't seen it, so it'd be interesting if someone can send me a link to it in the comments or something like that, and I can have a quick watch of it.
Michael Normanton tweeted it yesterday saying, seen them given, I think. So if you just go on Michael Normanton from the Square Ball, he popped it on there yesterday. But yeah, I think, I mean, we hadn't talked about that. It's a great shout, Matt. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, in a nutshell, for me, it's you've got to be happy with coming back. First of all, coming back from a goal down twice. You've got, we've limited a very, very good attacking Brighton side to 2 shots on target all game. It was
2 goals.
Yeah, I know 2 shots, 2 goals, but one of their goals was an own goal.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So you kind of take that away, don't you?
Yeah, so it's just little. I mean, fine margins. Look, they were. We probably didn't deserve either our goals. There was a bit of luck involved in both of those. The second one. I mean, what were your thoughts on? Have you seen Nonto's corner back? Anybody?
No.
So
I haven't seen any highlights.
Right. So again, letter of the law. Nonto goes to take the corner. There's another ball thrown on the pitch as he takes the corner.
Oh yeah.
So Nonto throws it off, picks it up while there's 2 balls on the field, throws it off. So it's effectively a handball, throws it off, and then Harrison scores from it. But the ball's off the pitch, the second ball's off the pitch. Now, if the ref has seen anything untoward there, he blows while there's 2 balls just got on the pitch. There's no way then he can then go back and say, actually, you've scored from it. Now it's a fucking problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had he done that, there'd have been fucking uproar.
But the thing is, sorry.
Go on, Matt. Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, when we did score that, all the Brighton players were arguing, but they didn't even take notice of it before the goal went in. So
exactly. I don't know what my kids are doing. I think they've just adopted a herd of elephants.
Sounds about right. Yeah. So like you were asking there earlier on, Luke, when we went to Matt. Matt, are you putting down Rodrigo as the kind of outstanding performer for Leeds yesterday when he came on, or have you got a different kind of look on things there? We go to you next after that, Luke.
I thought Rodrigo was poor. I mean, he could have.
Right.
There was a moment where he got the ball and he could have had a shot, but he tried to take an extra touch with his left foot. And like,
Right.
I think if he's in form and he never got injured, that goes in the back of the net. So
Yeah. Who would have been the player of the match for you there? So
I don't really know. Like, there wasn't really like an outstanding player for me. But
yeah,
who did it get given to? Like, who did actually like?
it's a
I don't
difficult
know.
one to call.
I think Matoma got it. Did he get man of the match for them?
Oh,
Or
did
for
he?
us, you mean?
Yeah,
For
just
us.
for us, Luke. Yeah. Who would you have put down? Obviously, we wouldn't have got it, but who would you have kind of put there?
For us, I thought, although he was beaten in the air a lot, I thought Coke had a relatively good game. I thought Warber again, he gave a few straight passes, decent game. I'm probably going to have to go for not Somerville for Junior Firpo, steady away again against Solly March. He didn't get much look down that right side. Made some important challenges, got forward well, but I'm with Matt. Really, there wasn't really anybody outstanding for us yesterday. I think it was good to see Bamford scoring again, although albeit with a bit of luck on our behalf
didn't
once. Yeah, well, yeah. As we said earlier, the crowd was turning, mate, and it was starting to get fucking vile in there. And it wasn't far off turning. We got that, and it sort of picked the crowd back up. You know, that is the most tense I've ever felt, Elland Road.
It's heavy yesterday, wasn't it? It wasn't an enjoyable atmosphere at all. Like, it was like the crowd were very, very edgy, and it took a long time for the crowd to get going properly, I think, you know. And we definitely play off the crowd when it's bouncing in there, like, without a doubt. But you know, them nerves from the crowd transcend into the pitch, and then that's when shit starts to go a bit sideways. Like, so, you know, I'd probably have to agree with you on that, Luke. It'd either be Cock or Firpo, man of the match, I think.
Nobody really stood out though, did they? They've just had a good game. They're still solid. Do you know what I mean?
Average enough, like, you know what I mean. There was no one there that you kind of go, fucking definitely him. Like, so it's a toss up between Cock and Firpo, pardon the pun. So yeah, I think that's essentially it, you know. Luke, just before we finish up, man, you've got something that maybe you'd like to announce, is it?
Just that we obviously announced the winner of the McKenny shirt giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So thank you everybody for subscribing and liking our content and that. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. But we had Paul actually who won it. It was number 6 in the raffle or the online whatever it was that Gilly did. Paul won it. I stand relatively close to him, so I went and I presented him his shirt yesterday in the South Stand. So there he is receiving his McKenny shirt on behalf of the lads at the pod. So yeah, well done, Paul. I'm sure we'll have some other bits and pieces to give away in the near future. So do keep tuned in. On
there'll be plenty going anyway. Absolutely, yeah, definitely plenty. Just on one last thing, I think you've starred this. This would be an interesting one to put out there.
Do you know what? I started it because I don't have a fucking clue what my answer is. I'll start with you, Matt. If just first 3 that come to your head, obviously you've got to base yesterday's results as well. You got Scum playing Southampton today, so we're actually hoping Scum win, which is fucking horrible feeling. And then I think the West Ham play today as well.
I've no phone or anything in here with me, so I haven't a goddamn clue.
West Ham, 2:00 today against Villa at home. So West Ham at home to Villa. So we probably realistically want a Villa result as well, which stinks as well, to be fair.
So you're who's going with their first 3, Matt? Are you going to give us your 3?
Well, Matt, I'll let you.
A load of cash to put on it. Who would you put on?
Southampton. I think Bournemouth is still going to go down. I think they just got a lucky win. Yeah. And West Ham, I don't think they've been good recently. And I think they could go down.
They've also got the Europa League, or is it the Conference League, that they're kind of in as well.
They're still in there,
that's taken away a lot of stuff for them to be able to concentrate on the relegation battle. Like, Luke, who do you reckon now if you had a load of cash?
Fucking
Didn't
hell.
matter if
Well, I said before, mate, I honestly don't know. There's so many twists and turns probably still going to come throughout this season. You know, there's going to be teams that get beaten by lesser teams, and there's going to be teams like we saw yesterday, Bournemouth and Everton getting results when probably nobody really expected them to. So I still think Southampton are as good as down. I don't think they're very good. I think I still think Bournemouth will go down. So I agree with you, Matt, on that. I think the third spot is the tough one that I'm really struggling with. Palace are in free falling. They've only won one game this year. You know, they're really bad and really, really bad to watch as well. I think we'll have enough. I'm gonna say I think we'll stay up. I just think there's probably going to, again, luckily for us this season, there's going to be three teams that are going to they've got worse run-ins and probably aren't as good as football inside. And I think we probably look back and think actually we brought Gracia in at the right time and we picked up a point against Brighton at home when probably we might have lost and that sort of thing. So yeah, I still think Leicester might get dragged into it, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna go with Leicester, Bournemouth, and Southampton.
I think what you said there about Palace is very kind of telling. They haven't won this year, and they are plummeting down the league from a. Let's be honest, they were in a fairly comfortable position up until Christmas. I think maybe either one of Forest or Palace, and then Southampton, Bournemouth. I think
who on Palace? Sorry,
Southampton. Sorry, it'd be either Palace or Forest to go down, or along with Southampton, Bournemouth for me. I think Everton, they've got their squad is far too good, and Sean Dyche is a prick, so he's just going to do it to annoy people. Like, you know what I mean? I think he'll keep them up, regardless of the running. Now, we did that running on the pod on Tuesday night, where Gilly did the breakdown of teams left and points accumulated on average.
That's gone out the window already. That's gone out the window because of yesterday. That's fucking straight out the window.
So yeah, I think they'd be my three to go down, of one of Forest or Palace, and then Southampton, Bournemouth.
Yeah, Gilly's saying Bournemouth, Everton, and Saints. So I think the general consensus is that everybody believes but Bournemouth and Saints are still going to go down. Then it looks like it's between Everton. Who else we got? Forest. It looks like mixed between Forest, Palace. I think I'm the only one to say Leicester though. But I guess time will tell. I still think we've got enough in us. I think we've made the right changes at the right times tactically. So I think we'll go into games and not just have a plan that we play the same way every game, which is nice because it makes it an absolute nightmare for the opposing manager to set up against us. We saw that with Brighton yesterday. They had the ball at the centre back's feet for a couple of minutes. They didn't know what to do with it. They were just passing it around the centre backs and the goalkeeper. You know, they expected us to be in at them, trying to fucking get the ball off them, and we weren't. And every time we did, they cut us open. So yeah, I think tactically, Gracia is an astute type signing, and I think he might be the difference between us staying up, because I look back at the games we've just picked points up in. You know, we beat Southampton and then we draw yesterday. I'm not confident we'd have got those under Marsh.
No, I don't think so. It's like it goes back to when Marsh came in and Bielsa was fired. It was like, are you trying to tell me that Bielsa wouldn't have got the same, if not more, points out of the remaining fixtures? Like he just played Liverpool, City, Scum, and Spurs and got the job. I mean, that's 4 of the top 6. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, we won't dwell on that.
I think we conceded something like 20 odd goals though in those 4 games, didn't we?
We did, but that's not to say that, you know, we'd have lost the games.
No, that's debate for another day. In it, we'll never know. We'll never know. But
we'll never know. Someone might do a
who was
simulation.
your man of the match for them? Was it Matoma? Everybody, was he that good on telly, Matt?
Yeah, he was. I think he was all over he was really, really good. He was all over Ailing, and some of that you can blame Somerville for not tracking back.
Yeah. What about Caicedo? Did he play well?
I think he was all right. Yeah,
He was steady, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't do much
Yeah.
exciting, but he was steady away. I don't think he was £90 million steady away. Like, I think that's what they've quoted Arsenal, what they want for him. I don't think I'll be paying 90 million quid for him. Like, but yeah.
Did McAllister look as bad on just before we finished? Did McAllister
Yeah,
look
good
as
point.
bad on the TV as he did in the stadium? Because
As
he didn't
average, let's
seem
say average. He wasn't bad. I mean, he was
He
just
wasn't bad.
Excuse me, yeah.
He didn't look like a World Cup winner, did he?
Yeah.
No. I mean, he scored the goal, but yeah, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, you know,
It was all
it's,
right.
it's,
I thought we neutralised him well. I thought our game
Yeah.
plan really, really did neutralise him. And you know, if it was a pH scale, it'd have been pH 7 yesterday on the pH scale, which is neutral. I think I'm going back a long time since I did GCSE science, but that's something I do remember. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong.
water testing there in your spare time,
Yeah.
Luke, is it?
Yeah.
So basically, what we're going to do now is we'll just finish up there, if that's all right, guys. I genuinely, I was totally distracted there. The fat boy came in the room and then he left again. Like, so I was just like, you know, I was like,
I think what we'll do there, we'll just finish up there.
yeah. Well, look, we've covered all bases. Matt, again, thanks for coming on.
Pleasure, Matt.
All the way from Australia, mate. Whereabouts in Australia are you?
Sydney.
Sydney,
Still,
right?
I ask him every time he comes on, Carl.
I'm usually hammered when I come on, like, so. What, like, is there any Leeds supporters club that you maybe want to give a shout out to there and see if you can get a few more people kind of meeting up?
No.
And there's a few places on George Street in
No.
Sydney, isn't there?
I don't really know. I don't know.
Oh, do you not? Well, let's get the
No.
feelers out there for Matt and get a few more Aussie Whites sorted for him for going on the lash, like, so it'll be all right. Look, Luke, thanks a million for joining us again now, as normal. It's been great crack, and Matt,
See you next
we'll catch
Tuesday.
you again at some. See you next Tuesday. I'm trying to do something here.